Hello, everyone, and hello, Kendra. Today, we are going to talk about finding fulfillment at work, how purpose and fulfillment intersect with your career journey. And today, we get to speak with Dr. Kendra Washington-Bass. It is so good to see you, Kendra.
Nice to see you, Erin, as well.
And you are a busy woman. You are the co-founder of the Lucy Leadership Project, which supports women in educational leadership to help them thrive.
Yes,
Fresh back from Chicago, doing good
yes,
work there. Can
yes.
you share with us a little bit about your career journey, please?
When I went to the University of Notre Dame, my idea was to be a sports journalist.
Really?
And the reason why was because I was a basketball player. I was a great student. I loved television and film. And I knew that the career in basketball would have to bring me overseas. And so I was like, what can I do to be closest to that space? And so I went in with the thought of being a filmmaker, a sports journalist, a broadcaster. And my experience at Notre Dame sort of flipped me into going into education. And I shifted gears and became a teacher back at home in the South Bronx. And that's when I knew what my purpose was, especially being a student coming from the South Bronx to South Bend. I wanted students who looked like me, who had experiences like me or similar to me, to have a better trajectory. And I wanted to be on the front end of making that happen, making students' wildest dreams or beating the odds come true.
Wow.
And that is how I have been in education for almost 31 years now. And it was the best thing. I have this smile on my face because it absolutely brings me joy when I see students reach their potential.
How lucky you are to be doing what you love, though, too.
Which is why this
Mhm.
conversation is so timely. I love what I get to do, not what I have to do. And when you get to do what you love to do, it doesn't feel like work. The energy just oozes out of me, and I am excited about what I do every day, especially supporting women in educational leadership.
Yeah, so we can tell. And I certainly want to hear more about it. And I'd like to talk a little bit more then about Irish Compass and how
Yes.
other people and how you've used it to find connections that have helped you align your career with your values and your sense of purpose.
Yeah, you had said you hit the nail on the head when you said the word values, because one of the values that I have is community.
Mm,
And Irish Compass is a platform that helps to foster that community.
right.
So as an alumni, as a professional, I've been connected with a few people through Irish Compass who were interested in understanding my trajectory, just as you have asked about my career. They're interested in going into education or in leadership. And either I've spoken to an individual student who is fresh out of college trying to navigate the world as it is,
Mhm.
or I've been able to connect our alumni back to the platform in order to make sure that they can connect with students. My other part of my work is that I serve as the chair of the Black Alumni of Notre Dame. There's another piece of community. And we encourage the students and our alumni to connect with each other on the platform so that one, they can support each other and create that network, but two, really be able to foster that community that the platform is set out to do.
Mhm. Well said. In what ways have fellow Notre Dame alumni supported you in navigating your career journey toward that fulfillment?
Yeah, so there is a very interesting part in my journey that led me back to Notre Dame. And I want to share this particular anecdote.
Please.
So it had been over 20 years since I visited the campus. And it wasn't until my son was visiting or interested in visiting colleges that he asked me to go back to Notre Dame. Recruitment and the admission rate for Black students coming to Notre Dame. I'm now the chair of, like, all of these things should not have happened, right? But they did. And I think a lot of it has to do with tapping in to the things that I value, tapping into my purpose, and having people around me who understand that very clearly to
Mhm.
keep me grounded in that purpose,
Mhm.
which is why I am, loving what I do, working with the alumni board, loving that that is also part of my education purpose, and also the community that I create, especially around women in leadership positions.
Mhm. So, Kendra, as people listen to this conversation, I think there will be a lot of them who say, gee, I wish I felt as passionate about what I'm
Mhm.
doing as you do. So, what advice would you give someone who's looking to use Irish Compass then to make meaningful career shifts toward greater fulfillment?
Yeah, I think one of the things you can do, there's two pieces to that. Using the platform, but using the people. So the platform is the
Right.
tool, right?
Hmm.
It's the people. And I tell this I said it to my own children, to young folks who are entering the careers. There's going to be a lot of pressures for you to do something that somebody else wants you to do. That's their dream and their purpose. And while it might sound not scientific, I think there has a lot to do with our faith. Thinking about what it is that you want to do, sticking with your faith helps to drive your purpose. And I think you can use Irish Compass to find the individuals who actually are living in their purpose, thinking about
Yeah.
the things you want to do that are going to energize you and going for that. It won't feel like work. And I know, as an educator, many have said we don't go in it for the money, right? No, you don't. But you go in for fulfillment and being part of something that is that force for good helps us to achieve those goals. So I would say finding that community there on the platform, but going beyond that. The alumni network is just vast, and being able to tap into those resources can help you fulfill the dreams that you're seeking.
Hmm. And Kendra, can you just share with us anything else that you think is important, something of note? And I'm hoping that you can tell us a little bit more about the Lucy Leadership Project as well, please.
Yeah, this is my baby, right? This is all of the 31 years I have in education has led me to this space. I'm very clear that there are the statistics around women in education being that 78% of your teachers are women, but when we look at leadership, almost 28% are women. And when we look at women of color, it's 7 to 8%. How is that
Mm-hmm.
possible? And
Right.
so the Lucy Leadership Project is there to be able to do a couple of things: make the data visible, and then provide tools and resources for women in educational leadership in order for them to fulfill their purpose, in order for them to navigate the systems and structures that might be diminishing their light, and being able to show up authentically to do the work in service for kids. And so I'm very proud of Lucy Leadership Project. We have a great network. And again, part of the value is creating the community and reducing the isolation for women in leadership so that they can thrive.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have made it to the lightning round of questions
Okay.
right now. Favorite place on campus?
So when I was a student, my favorite place was the Smythe Museum. Part of it was I loved culture, and I also used to watch a lot of the films at the museum. Now it's the Racklin Museum.
Mm.
I have found my new space on campus that I just go for quiet reflection and just experience that artistic moment there.
Favorite book or podcast?
Oh, favorite book. Come on now. This one right here.
Wait, who's that
Unwrap.
by?
Favorite book is Unwrap: The Pursuit of Justice for Women Educators. This is my journey, right? This is me and Kelly, my co-author. We had this opportunity to share our journeys as women in educational leadership. So that's my favorite book.
Love it. Favorite Notre Dame memory?
I would say I'll say it's most recent favorite Notre Dame memory, and that is attending the Black alumni of Notre Dame reunion last year.
Okay.
It was an opportunity for me to see the legacy in which I stand on.
Mm-hmm.
So those individuals who were class of 1960, we had class of 1957, to class of my class, 1994, and those who had just graduated. Again, my value is community.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And this is when I do need to remind everybody to foster your network to meet wonderful people like Kendra. All you need to do is go to irishcompass.nd.edu to learn more about how the platform can help you throughout your professional journey and to stay connected with our community. That is the
That's
buzzword of the
right.
day, isn't it, Kendra?
Absolutely.
We really
Absolutely.
hope you go and check it out. But more than that, Kendra, thank you so much for making time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Erin. And thank you. Go Irish.